Hello,
So we're
markets.
good. We have no audio difficulties today. So looks like everything is pretty cool. For everyone that's here, we're just going to wait it out for everyone to come through. So go ahead, just say hi if you're early here. If you're not early, so be it. Just let us know who's in the house. Go ahead and put in your votes. And we're asking everyone today to drop their biggest stock holding in the comments. So let's see what everyone's been currently holding on to. So go ahead and put that out as well. Uh, just a brief on what's happening with the market as of now. We're just 82 points down, which is not too bad compared to what we were at. We were about 80, more than 120, 140 points down. We're down only about 85 right now. So everything looks good for now. Nothing to really worry about that much. Okay. We're just trying to sort out a few things because this one's going to be a little longer than usual. We'll go all the way up till retail sales data. Let me just go ahead and see what the numbers are. So, Sean, we're going to get those numbers in exactly 15 minutes from now.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're going to be getting. What are we getting? Wait, what do you mean by this is not coming on Thursday? Okay, so tomorrow is also going to be pretty important, but today we're getting core retail sales month on month. Point one was what it was previous. We're expecting point two. So let's see what happens about that. Point one on retail sales month on month, but we're expecting a negative 0.5. So we're expecting a degrowth in sales by negative 0.5. So let's see if that plays out. We're also going to get in the import prices month on month. We're going to get the capacity utilization as well. Let me actually turn this a little bit that side so it's simpler for me to talk to you guys. Yeah. So we're going to be getting that and industrial production as well. More importantly, the retail sales is of more importance. So let's see how that goes. Let's just wait for everyone to come through. Let me just go ahead and put the link on Twitter and everywhere else. So everyone then is on the same page. But this should be fun, especially tomorrow. Now that we have Sean, the FOMC meeting that comes up tomorrow. So tomorrow evening we get unemployment claims, and then at night we're going to be getting actually day after. So tomorrow night we're going to be getting the Fed Powell meeting, and then we're
They're
off
very
on Thursday.
important, right?
Yeah, and then we're off on Thursday. So
You think you'd cut the rates?
uh, it's
But it-
fascinating that you asked me that, but one of the things that I was actually thinking about was that there is a guy that kind of leaks the reports beforehand, Nick Timoros from Wall Street Journal. You remember the time when he did the 50 basis point hike? And we should talk about this
yeah,
once we get more people in as well. Remember when the Fed came out with the 50 basis point hike? I mean, a
yeah.
cut, 50 basis point cut, right? Nobody was expecting that, but a few days before we had a leak, which was basically like, we're going to be getting a 50 basis point cut,
Yep.
and that seems more likely. And it actually went out that way. And then they basically started terming Nick Timoros at Wall Street Journal as the Nikki leaks, like the WikiLeaks kind of story. But he just came out right now and said that we shouldn't be surprised if we actually do get a 25 basis point cut. Now, I think if you do get that 25 basis point cut, I think it might lead to more volatility because it might be that he's acting under the influence of Trump, which I don't think he will. So that's currently just going to be something that we just have to look at. But yeah, I don't think he'll cut purely for that reason. Should he cut? Yeah, he should. In all essence, 25 basis points is what he should go for.
They're expecting
But the market's not
two.
expecting anything. The market's expecting two cuts towards the end of the year. Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
No, so they're expecting two cuts, right?
I'm still in the camp of expecting two cuts this year, 2 to 3 cuts this year. But I don't think he's cutting now. He might cut July. He might So remember, so this meeting is actually pretty close, right? You have a June meeting in this mid, and then you have another July meeting, month end in July. So it's easy for him to document it right now. He can just pretty much come in right now and say that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be cutting in the next meeting in
Mm.
July, right?
Yeah.
So it's simpler for him to do that. So I'm guessing that's what he's going to do. He's going to basically telegraph the fact that he's going to be cutting in the next meeting rather than cutting and shaking up the markets right now. Let me just put in the link onto Twitter as well so we get more people seeing it and then they can join in. But yeah,
I'm
that's my
just
bit. I
worried
mean,
about.
I'm not sure if he's going to cut,
I'm just
but
worried about Nasdaq because it just hold punching up there on top. So either you
which
might
is
break
actually
out
pretty good,
to
right? I mean, considering the morning
22K.
news that we had. If you look at it, considering that Trump left the G7 early, saying he has to go and fix things and everything else that needs to happen with Iran and Israel, the fact that he's leaving early, I mean, the volatility index is up 5%. So don't forget that. You're up about 20.11 on the volatility index on the VIX, right? But 88 points on the NASDAQ is actually nothing. Think about it. Yesterday we were up 300 on the NASDAQ. We're giving up like 0.25% of the entire gain of yesterday, just in pre market today, right? I think if you stop getting any crazy news coming out from the White House or Israel or Iran, again,
Mm.
the current story and talk of town is the fact that the lower oil prices go, the higher equity prices go, and the higher equity prices go has a direct. It's basically an inverse correlation. I mean, you don't need to make it too tough for us to understand that. But at the moment, oil is at its days high, right? 71.765. It's
Yep.
up about 2.75%. So it does have an inverse correlation. I think if the oil markets do head lower, you're going to start seeing the Fed cutting as well, uh, possibly in July, and you are going to be seeing because inflation is going to go lower. Now, remember, right? Think of it this way: he can always come out and say all of these things, and then at the end of it, it could be a scenario where he says, "Hey, oil prices technically are now staying stagnant. Let's say for the next 3 weeks at $70. That means gas at the pump station is going to pick up." So consumers are going to be stretched a lot more for money. And when that happens, then how are they going to be spending, right? Because they're going into their discretionary income.
Mm.
Uh, Luckily, oil doesn't become a part of inflation, but oil has effects that can cause inflation not to spike, but people's spending power to reduce.
Yeah.
So that could be a reason why he cuts rates as well. What I'm trying to say is that he can picture it in that way by saying that, hey, you know what, I don't need to cut rates because Trump's telling me to cut rates. I'm not cutting rates because inflation's going lower, but I'm going to cut rates in order to protect the employments and protect the consumer demand from getting worse. Because if you see housing data, it is like, dude, it's like ice age. That's what's happening. No one's buying any house. No one's doing anything when it comes to housing. It's just bloody dead, completely dead. So there's really nothing happening there.
I think because Zillow also is going down, right? Because Zillow has a history of mispricing.
Yeah, but I don't know. Let's see what's happening with the stock. It's Zillow. I haven't seen it in a while.
There was a big thing where they were trying to buy and
Let's
sell. They were trying to buy sell properties, like they,
yeah.
they themselves were trying to flip, but it turned to be a big loser.
Yeah, that's kind of an issue for them because when rates got hiked, then
Yeah.
that becomes an issue, right? Because how are you going to finance all of those loans that you're thinking of taking or any of that? That now that you have all this inventory in your books, you got to pay for it somehow. So that took Zillow a massive hit, which is why in 2022 it went down from $200 a share to about what, $26 a share. It pretty much got its ass whooped.
Yep.
So that happened. Look at the chart of uranium, bro. That is just losing its mind. Like, I mean, as much as people talk about Middle East and EU and tariffs and oil tensions and all of that, just look at uranium. In the past 3 months, it's gone from a low below 20 all the way to 38,
Wow.
right? So you just look at that. I mean, it's just fascinating. Melon from Mars says life is simple. That is true, my friend. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining our live. Look at WTI. WTI is up at about 71.58, right? Anyways, let's just go back and see what's happening with some of these stocks. So what's fascinating, Sean, is that if you look at Nvidia, Nvidia is the only one that
Yeah.
I can see is currently up in pre-market, up about
That's because they had
0.4%.
they had a deal, right? With you
I mean,
told me
pretty much they have a
Moderna.
deal every day, man. They have a deal now with some Novo Nordisk as well for.
Yeah, no, 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 sorry.
Let me see what that is all about. If they do get it, uh, I remember seeing it. So Barclays has adjusted their price target on Nvidia from $170 all the way to $200. So that's most likely the reason why it's up. Look at Reddit. Reddit's up about 4%. So Reddit's doing something pretty cool when it comes to their ads and their AI powered ads that's there. So analytics for marketers, that's basically improving. So I sent that link to a very close friend of ours who's basically like a king in SEO and marketing. So I sent it to him, and maybe then whenever we meet next, he'll break it down and just explain it to me as to whether it actually helps them. Because last time when I spoke to him, he was telling me that the thing with Reddit is that their ads can be targeted, but the way that you function with YouTube and the way that you function ads on Meta are so much more better, right?
Mhm.
So that is something that people should look at. But I would say Reddit might be a great place also. And the stock's down, right? It's down about it's 82% away from its all-time high. So that is some return if it gets back there. I don't know if it will, but we'll see. We got a question from Melon from Mars. I think we should follow Warren Buffett strategy, piling up the cash. Uh, so let me tell you this. Uh, I don't know what I mean. See, remember, right? It's easy to sit for us to sit here and talk about Buffett in terms of like for me to do that and talk about him. His mindset's obviously going to be very different when he's running $1 trillion company. Also, do remember that on $1 trillion of net worth, he has about 350 billion in cash. Right? He still has about 500 to 600, almost 700 billion in equity. Now that is in companies that he owns, which are not traded every day, as well as companies that he owns, which are traded every day. So that's Apple, Coca Cola, American Express, all of these companies that he holds a huge stake in. He's not selling any of those. He's basically selling Apple. And to credit to him, he basically bought the fucking bottom on Apple and he got the top on it when he got out. In all seriousness,
I mean,
everyone
he saw
was.
the vision of more than $1 trillion,
I mean, dude, think
which
about it. He's 93 and he could do that, man. 94, I think now. But anyway, so he's piling up cash, remember, because there's a lot for it to be said as to what a percentage of his portfolio it is. So if it is just 35-40% of his portfolio, it ain't really that much, right? So if you're sitting on about 30% cash on your portfolio, I don't think that's a bad strategy at all. If you're sitting on 100% cash just because Buffett's sitting on like $300 billion worth of cash, I really do believe that he one is shortly trading at a different league. Two, he's not on YouTube, right? And three, it's a generational wealth management business basically for him. He's like a continent, if not a country, by himself, right? So sometimes you need those kind of treasury holdings, and he needs that. So we don't necessarily need it that much, but I would not be one of the guys who comes out and says that hey, 100% invested unless and until you're. I honestly still do believe that it's a good time to invest. Most times are good times to invest. And whenever you see red days, you should go out and buy, right? It's it's something that is part of the reason why Buffett did become Buffett. And a lot of people had this concept that Buffett has just been an investor. Uh, Let me break that story for everyone because in his early days, all the way till when he was 35, 40, he did flip out of most of his stocks on a very regular basis. So he would enter particular stocks, flip out, go into the next stock, get back into something else, jump out into something else. So that was all the way when he was even in the millions of dollars. Remember that. It's not like he was doing this with $10,000 only. So he was doing it even in the millions. The reason why he tells everybody go and buy an index fund, stay long-term invested is because if everyone starts trading 0-day options, or like, you trade 2-month options, or you trade swing trading, buying tomorrow to sell day after, you're pretty much going to have less money than yesterday. That's what it is. So he doesn't want people to slip the average investor, right? So it's a good time. I mean, in all honesty, I still do believe it's a good time, unless and until we have nuclear missiles flying over us. But if that happens, then trust me, we don't need to worry about YouTube and everything else. We have bigger fish to fry. So that's that. Oh, there's some new card that came out, bro, with JP Morgan Chase Sapphire Reserve. There's a new card that came out. Looks pretty cool, bro. I mean, that's not
Oh,
related
I
to our
can check.
YouTube session, but it's pretty cool. Okay, let's go ahead and check.
30 seconds.
Oracle has been tapped by XAI to bring its Grok models to Oracle's generative AI service. So that being said, you know what? Maybe Elon is onto something, man. Like about the entire XAI thing. I mean, Nvidia is the one that's going to gain the most from it, right? Let me get another question from Melon. He says thoughts on an intelligent investor. By far, bar
We have three
none.
seconds.
Oh, we have 3 seconds. Sorry, I'm going to get back to you, buddy. Just hold on. Let me just check what's happening with the data. Uh, so we're expecting zero point 0.2 on retail sales, and we're expecting negative 0.5. I've seen some places of negative
Oh,
0.7,
negative 0.3
negative
would be.
0.3. So that's a bad number. That's not a good number at all. Let's see
Oh,
what's happening
wow.
with retail sales month on month. Okay,
Negative
that's a
9.
bad number. Negative 0.9 for retail sales month on month. Uh,
Wow.
that is a bad number.
Wow.
Do keep in mind, don't get too scared about this, because there's been a lot of pull forward. If you look at the previous numbers, you have seen them being recasted all the way up. Look at your May number. If you just go into your Bloomberg terminal or whatever you guys use, if you just go in and check previous, you can see the revised number, which has moved from on May, which has literally moved from zero point 0.8 when I saw it last, all the way up to 1.7%. You don't see retail sales going all the way up to 1.7%, which was earlier at 1.4. So you did have a lot of pull forward because of the tariffs. So you're genuinely likely to not get the same people buying the same product the next month if they, in order to evade the tariffs, they bought it a month earlier, right? So it's not out of the ordinary. It is way worse than what we expected. Is it going to kill the rally for me? No. Maybe today we go down a little bit and all of that. That's okay. It's
I think the market seems to be holding.
Yeah. I mean, I think we might be down 100 or whatever, right? It's
Yeah.
I think the market is looking more ahead towards Jerome Powell's meeting. I think
Yeah.
that's the one that's more important. What Powell says, what Powell does. My bet, like I've been saying, is he's going to be dovish. It is going to be something where the market is going to be happy of what he's saying, because I believe he is going to come out and start speaking dovish in a way wherein he's going to calm the market about any of the fears that the Fed will not act if things get worse.
Yeah.
So remember, right? The concept that we've had these 2 years of bull markets is related to the fact that we had rising rates. In a rising rate market, we've had two of the best years that we could have ever wanted when it comes to equity markets. Why have we had that? Because he always came out and said that the Fed will act when necessary. And the Fed was clear about this concept that they would hike rates as much as is required in order to reduce the inflation rate. And they were able to do that, right? Now Trump came and messed up the soft landing and Powell doesn't like it. Fair enough. That's a separate story. That's not something that we're supposed to be wasting our time on, but that's the cards that were dealt with. Uh, so I do believe that he is going to be bullish. He is going to be dovish as well, because the data is not bad. And you know what's also going to happen, Sean? Think about this. If the data is actually getting bad, if he's looking at these retail sales number and being like the consumer is weakening, let's say, right? My logic is
Mm.
that we've heard a tariff pull forward to a certain extent, but the consumer is also being weakening. I wouldn't say no to that when it even in the employment data you're able to see it. So when you're looking at retail sales going down this much, there is a higher possibility that he comes out and cuts rates, right? I would actually
Mm.
go down to go and see what the Fed currently has when it comes to projections about rate cuts. So we can actually go down there and check it out when let me see actually US May retail sales fall 0.9%. It was estimated to fall about 0.7. Sales ex auto fall 0.3. It was estimated to be a positive 0.1. May retail sales. Let me actually try seeing if I can put this out on the chat. So for anyone that doesn't know what's going on, we have retail sales. Where in the world is the chat? Yeah, there. Let me just put this out so everyone knows what the hell is going on. Okay, I'm not going to be able to put such a large thing, but whatever I can, I'm going to put. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Okay. Anyways, so I'm just going to go through that because it's kind of important to look at that. US May retail control group sales rise 0.4, estimated to have risen about 0.3. So the data is letting us know that basically it's a story of consumer hesitation. The consumers are staying a step back. There has been tariff pull forward is the reason why we've had great numbers, right? It's the reason why we revised our numbers all the way from 1.4% for May to 1.8%, 1.7%. So I don't really think the market is going to get affected that much by it. From my look, as of now, what are we down? About 90 points on?
Yeah,
On the Nasdaq?
91.
Yeah, we're down about 90. So we're pretty much right there where we started off. It pretty much ended up being like a nothing burger, right? So that doesn't seem to be. I mean, consumers are. I don't know how to say it. Can you go around saying? I mean, the thing with the what happens with all this media and CNBC news articles and all that, they're coming out and saying that the retailers, consumers are pulling back and all. Okay, the only reason they're pulling back is because god damn it, you already spent all that money a month before. So if
Mm.
you've already spent all that money a month before, you're not going to buy the same thing again and again. We're not talking about consumer staples here. You're not buying tissue paper. That's not what's getting counted completely onto retail sales also, right? You're looking at cars, you're looking at everything else that's there. Month on month, I'm pretty sure I have numbers here for you're looking at cars, you're looking at building mats, garden, gas stations, restaurants, bars, grocery, electronics, right? Health, personal care. How many people are buying two laptops in 2 months? You're going to buy all of that upfront because you don't know what the hell the tariffs were supposed to be. Think of it this way: a month back, you were buying all of this because you were worried that you're going to get a tariff of 145%. You're not getting a 145% tariff, right? That's not happening right now. So a lot of that was pretty much effects that have been happening because of the pull forward of tariffs. That effect's not playing out right now. That's not happening right now. So everyone needs to just chill about this fact that the consumers are pulling back. The consumer is pulling back because he pulled forward already from the previous months. You don't see 1.7, 1.8% retail sales in a normal environment. You saw it because of the tariffs. And now that's been taken back. So it's all okay, man. Import prices were flat in May. They were expected to drop 0.2% import prices. They stayed flat, right? On the export side, prices dropped more than expected, down 0.9%. So traders still stick to September rate cut view, which is what I was trying to see in the Fed book right now, trying to see how many of the traders still expect a September rate cut. Everyone's still sticking to that. US short-term interest rate futures trim early against. Let me just go and see what's happening with the bond market. So good things. In a way, the bond yield is down 0.88%.
King
Again,
only.
it did fall all the way back and then came back up again because this is literally so the 0.2% difference that you're seeing, right? We expected a negative 0.7, it came at negative 0.9. The 0.2% just got added on to the previous month. From 1.4, we went to 1.7 for the previous month. So if had we had known that we were having a 1.7% the previous month, we would have had our number at negative 0.9. So for me, it still came at expectations, and that's the reason why the market's not reacting. So don't listen to all that bullshit about the consumer weakening and no one's spending and all of that. This is you just not wanting to buy the same goddamn thing every month. There's no reason to, right? We're trying to see if there's more stuff here. I'm going to get back to that question on the intelligent investor because that's a pretty long answer, but I just want to go and see some of these things if I can just find them. Mm, if I fall into something of the trap of reading Israel Iran, I will let you guys know about it because for now it's a bloody trap for me. There is just so much of stuff right now going on out there. No one knew what parts of Iran and Israel were even there, and those parts are being bombed, and everyone's just making crazy stuff about it. But so be it. China's Xi comes out and says there are no winners in trade wars or in tariff wars. Okay, I don't know what he means by that, but okay. So Israel's defense minister comes out and says he's not in talks with Iran and Israel to attack significant targets in Tehran today. Uh, that is going to be fascinating if that does actually turn up. So Barclays raises their target price on Nvidia to $200. I'm just going through a few important things. I'm waiting to see if the market actually has some form of a move, either lower or higher, or it just stays goddamn wherever it is. If it does stay where it is, I'm most likely on the camp that we're going to go back and hit higher. Maybe I'm waiting for the day when we do head back to 22,000, right? Yesterday we tried breaking up to 21,980. We didn't go back all the way to 22,000. So I'm trying to see if we get to 22,000. That'll actually be fun to look at that happen.
Palantir is up.
Sorry,
Palantir is up 0.79.
what's up with Palantir? Palantir must be at an all-time high, man. Food's been
It
going up
is.
as well. Palantir's been going up as well. Yeah, Palantir's up what 0.81%, 2.92%. Dude, I still remember seeing this at like $8, man. I don't know why I never bought a single penny out of it. Yeah, that's just
Mm.
stupid me, right? I mean, tell me about an intelligent
It's
investor.
because
It's not us.
no one knows what Palantir does.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, still, like, I was pretty bullish on it, and I just sat and looked at it. That's what I did. But anyways, let me get the answer on the thoughts on the intelligent investor. Uh, by far, bar none, the best book on investing for anyone that wants to learn and is in the first 3 to 5 years of their investment business in terms of trading as well as in terms of understanding businesses, in terms of investment time horizons and in terms of wisdom from investing. Nothing beats that book. I would say it comes in the top 5 books for me. For any of you that want to spend time looking into a book, read a book called Common Stocks, Uncommon Profits, Phil Fisher. Look at another book called, look at all the 3 books that Peter Lynch wrote. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Uh, I don't know if you still get the Seth Klarman book on margin of safety. I'm not sure if you do, but go ahead and look for Seth Klarman's margin of safety. If you can get that book, I think there's a PDF version online. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but so be it. You guys can just go and look at it. If there is a PDF version online, just read it. Because I think they stop production and now each book goes for like some $10,000 or something. Sean, just check if
Wow.
you can find out what the price of Seth Klarman's margin of safety is. I'm pretty sure it's about $1,000, $10,000 somewhere there. They stop production and there's like this scarcity value that's been created. Anyways, uh, and so study about this guy. A lot of people don't know about him. His name is Anthony
You
Bolton.
can get it for 2,500.
2,500 USD.
2,000 on Amazon.
Yeah, okay. So fair enough. So it's bloody expensive. Anyways, so you can get the PDF. You don't need to spend 2,500 USD on that. Go buy yourself some shares instead of that. The PDF version's available online. So just read it there. Everything else, just go and buy the books. Peter Lynch, all 3, margin of safety, all of those. I think I have learned more from Warren Buffett's annual letters than from the intelligent investor. So I would still say if you can get hold of the entire 50, 60 years of not just Berkshire Hathaway, but also the Buffett partnership letters, there's a lot to learn from that, not just about investing, but about the way he thought at the time that he was in. Remember, some of the most beautiful times was when Buffett was sitting on cash. And a lot of people don't realize that his cash component, like what we were talking about right now, that he's piling up cash. There was a time when for about 2 or 3 years, he was pretty much in cash, completely in cash. He just stayed away from the market. He never invested for about 2 or 3 years just because valuations were too high. Now imagine a guy whose sole job is to make money through investments. And I ask you now, okay, you the only thing you can do is invest, right? But let's say from tomorrow you realize that the market's expensive and you don't buy stocks for 3 years. Imagine living on the concept of what you do every day, not doing it for the next 3 years because you're so mentally strong and you know that prices and valuations are so expensive that you just stay away from investing. I mean, to me, that's a lot. That speaks volumes about the fact as to how Buffett is and how he thinks, right? So look for that. Otherwise, the book is great. I mean, if you're in the first 5 7 years of your investing journey and have not read The Intelligent Investor, or have read it maybe once when you started off, my suggestion: go ahead and read it. Absolutely read it. There is no two reasons why you shouldn't be reading it. It is phenomenal, but also go ahead and read the other books. All the books on Peter Lynch that's there, all the books that you have on Seth Klarman that's there, Anthony Bolton. A lot of people don't know Anthony Bolton, but he's been a contrarian investor. Mm, a lot of people just got to know about him purely because you had a time where the guy who's running Norge's investment bank, Nikolai Tangen, he basically had a video with him asking him about his contrarian approach. And think about it. He, in January of 2025, was the guy that came out and said that, you know what, this is a time to buy Chinese stocks because it's undervalued, and this is a time to get out of America because it's overvalued. And he doesn't manage money anymore. He doesn't, invest and all of that. But think of it that way, right? It's conceptually, it's so strong as a system to pull back from investing, even though you've been one of the greatest investors, right? Look at Peter Lynch, right? At a time when everyone believed that he was at the peak of his career, he just pulled out and said, you know what, I'm going to spend time with my family, I'm done. And he just stayed away. He literally made Fidelity one of the biggest things in the world and then just walked away. Just literally just walked away. Beat the goddamn index by I don't know how many percent over how many years. And I would still suggest go down and read his book. Absolutely phenomenal what Peter Lynch has done for the investing community. It's just mind blowing what's happened there. Let me go see what else is going on here. So for everyone that's new here, we do this every day at about 8:39 a.m. We shifted based on information on news days. On news days, we start at 8:30, like retail sales today, which I've put down in the comments so you can see the rates there. On days that don't have too much fun, which is non-news days, we start at about 9 and we go on till about 10. So those are our numbers when we come on. Some days, if it's fun, I also do a post market. Like today, actually yesterday when the market closed, I did a post market after that. So go ahead and subscribe and notify yourselves. Whatever is that bell and all of that, press that because then you'll get a message whenever I come live. That's that. Let me just go check the market. So, I mean, Sean, we're still down just 86, man. I mean, it's pretty much been like
It's not,
retail
yeah.
sales didn't give a shit.
I think only we gave a shit because
Yeah, I
it's
think we
just
gave a
half a
shit. Yeah.
percent or little more than that.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at most of this data right now. I, in all honesty, would not have looked at retail sales that much. But the only reason why I'm looking at retail sales and looking at all of this data that's coming out pretty much on a weekly basis, including jobless claims, uh, initial employment claims, all of the data that's coming out is because I do believe that the employment numbers are getting bad. We're not getting to a scenario where the job market is deteriorating. It is deteriorating very slowly.
Hmm.
So bit by bit, we're seeing cracks forming there. It is not happening meaningfully yet. But that's what they say, right? It starts slow and then it all goes away completely. So maybe that's the case. Is it the case today? No. So don't worry, right? We've been saying this for a while as well. It's just like the Israel Iran story that we've been saying. Don't lose your Whole story behind this Israel-Iran thing, it's an opportunity for you to buy and make use of it. And technically, if you did, you would have had a pretty good yesterday, because yesterday was one of the greatest days that I have seen on bad news. Right? I mean, some of these stocks were up like 5%, 4%. It's a great day. We're pretty much hit yesterday's high, had broken about Friday's closing and Friday's high, which was the day when the Israel-Iran strikes began. And I was saying this in my post market as well, that very clearly what you're seeing here is the fact that the first time when you're hit with the news, you get affected by it. The second time when you're hit by the news, you're like, okay, I've heard this story again. And the third time when it happens, you're like, okay, like I'll give you an example. If you get any news today saying that ballistic missiles have been flying and something's happened somewhere and there've been missiles in Tehran or missiles in Tel Aviv that have fallen in non-US, in non-oil based places, it's not going to matter. I had this question today, Sean, about from I think Deekshant, which was about the morality of how do you think about the morality angle when it comes to wars and the concept of uh, let's say capitalism to some extent. And my answer to him was, I
Okay.
don't know your answer, but give me yours as well. I would like to know that. My answer was that from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m., when the markets are open, I'm looking at making money because I have to pay my taxes and my bills, and no one's going to pay
Yeah.
for me. Post 4
Okay.
p.m., all the way up to the next 9 a.m., I can have all the political beliefs and all the morality beliefs that I want about why nothing should happen to anyone. And I'm all for peace. But at the end of the day, whoever I stand for, I am still going to need someone to pay my bills. And at this moment, the government points the gun on my head saying, you're the one who's going to pay your own taxes. So till the time that's the scene, I think I'm going to continue
Yeah.
keeping morality out of question when it comes to 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. That doesn't mean we do insider trading. If we were so, think of it logically, if we were actually doing insider trading or any of that kind of shit, we wouldn't be on YouTube live, right?
I
But
mean,
yeah,
there's always a lot of things that the market might do that make us feel question ethics a little bit. But I think if you're just thinking about it in terms of just doing it for value and for growing your own fund, I don't think it should matter. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about like issues and all that stuff, but if presented with an opportunity to grow your wealth, I don't think you should think about. I'm not saying you should accept contracts to
yeah, we're
kill
not saying to
people
be
for money.
heartless.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying if you don't like defense companies because
Oh yeah,
um
don't buy it. I think we had someone last week as well who was saying the same thing, right? That he wasn't looking at buying defense companies because of what they're doing in the world and all. I said, fair
yeah,
enough, don't buy that. Buy McDonald's. Let them buy someone that bloody hell sells burgers. You'll still make money.
yeah.
The question is to make money here, right? At the end of the day, that's the important part, making money.
Because I don't think anyone will give a damn about your ethics and your morality when it comes to paying taxes.
Yeah, so the thing is this, right? I mean, when it comes to paying taxes, when it comes to paying hospital bills, you don't get a different bill or a different tax check based on
Yeah,
how good a citizen you are. You pay the rate at what you earn, right? Now you could be an asshole and make 500,000 and pay a 40% tax, or you could be the nicest guy in the world, make 350K and still be paying the same tax bracket. It doesn't really make a difference. So, long story short, we keep morality out of the question between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Post that, we have views. Those are views we will not share. Let's just go and see what's happening. Okay, 110 down on the Nasdaq. Volatility is at 2020. I mean, 2021. Not really picking up that much. So the data has not really caused that much of an issue yet, but this is something that we're still looking at. Tomorrow we have, what do we have tomorrow? We have unemployment claims, right?
Mhm.
Where I don't know how this is going to work out. So, Sean, this is what's happening. The number previously was 248K. We're expecting a number of 246K. The number's going to drop. I haven't seen the number drop in quite a while on unemployment claims. Unemployment claims in somewhere around April, May in the start was at about 215, 210, 220. It's been steadily increasing all the way up to 248K. Now they're expecting 246K. I am praying that it does come lower than that. That'll be one of the best things ever. But if we do start breaking the 250, 260K, that's usually when I'm going to start getting worried about the job market. And also to remember then that everything is going to get priced overnight as to what the Fed's going to do. Because we have jobless claims coming out at 8:30 tomorrow, and we have Powell coming and talking at 2 a.m. So let's say maybe we'll do a YouTube live even when Powell is there. Maybe we'll just do like a half an hour, 45 minutes tomorrow during market open, and then we can do an FOMC meeting. Just break everything down that Powell said, which is usually never anything that he's going to be saying. Because, and I actually went back and did this, right? I did this stuff today, which was basically the stuff that usually the Federal Reserve chairman in the last 12 months of his year is more hawkish than dovish. He doesn't want to be the reason for blame. I mean, even though this current guy is getting blamed left, right, and center, right? But my bet is he might not want to be hawkish, but he might just hold steady for a while longer and just hand over everything to the successor and be like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to figure things out and not worry about a lot of what's going on currently. So that's my bet. Do I still think we'll see two cuts? I think we'll see two telegraphed cuts. Now, what do I mean by two telegraphed cuts? What I mean by that is that I actually feel he's going to be dovish in the statement, and he's going to come out and say that, hey, listen, I am looking at, I mean, obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but with a deteriorating, I don't think he'll use the word deteriorating. So I think from a softening jobs market and from an improving inflation numbers, which are heading lower, he's going to telegraph the thing that the Fed does not need to be so restrictive, while at the same time saying that they have not yet seen the full effects of the tariffs on inflation. So in case that's supposed to happen, they would not necessarily. So there's no jumbo cut 50 basis points happening. It's going to be a 25 basis point cut, and we might, who knows? I mean, the fact that Nick Timmerose from Wall Street Journal did come out and say that, just saying, like, I mean, let me try getting the tweet of what he was saying. But one thing that he was basically hinting to, which is basically him being the unofficial mouthpiece for Jerome Powell. These are his words. There are good reasons to think the Fed would be prepared to cut interest rates this week due to recent improvements on inflation, if not for the risk that tariffs pose to prices. So, what he's saying is that there are enough good reasons that the Fed might cut this week. I don't think he's going to cut this week just because I think he's not going to give in to Trump. It'll look like he caved. And remember, he's got a meeting in 45 days from now. So he can very well cut later. But he can telegraph it right now saying he's on the way of cutting. And when he just says that, you know what, Trump's also going to be happy because Trump's like, oh, finally this guy understood, right? I think Trump called him a numbskull. I was like, dude, what is going on here? But anyways, it is what it is. Okay. Also, so if you guys want to read anything about investing, look at this guy. So Phil Fisher's son, right? Kenneth Fisher, he runs Fisher Investments. Go and read some of his books as well. Great stuff coming out of there. Fabulous, fabulous stuff coming out from him. You guys can go on YouTube and look at him, look him up as well. Amazing stuff. Let me see if there's anything else that's currently going on. Sean, do you see anything that's going on? I see some new JP Morgan Chase Sapphire Reserve card. I mean, so long to say that.
I think he's trying to beat Amex.
Mhm. Yeah, so
But
you know what? Retail sales fell month on month just because there was an auto sales payback. So No one was buying two cars in 2 months. Everyone bought their car a month earlier, and that's why retail sales came lower. Plain and simple. The effect that autos had was magical. Other than that, nothing was as much of an important scenario. Anyways, do you guys have any questions? Just drop into the comments. You can ask us any of your questions as well. While we just go and have a few things to see out here. Again, for everyone that's new, go ahead and subscribe. And we do this pretty much 8:30 every day. If there's news, otherwise we start at about 9. Mm. You see anything, Sean, that is currently worth talking about other than the retail sales that we've spoken about? Anything in the
Um,
market, or it's all pretty chill? Okay,
I think
110
it's all
down.
dead. I think it's only worried about. I think everyone's just worried about either markets progressing from now on, or I think they're just worried about Iran as well. That's it.
Yeah, so the markets did fall in overnight trading because it looked like Trump was leaving early for the White House purely because there's something going to go happen in Tehran. But I'm guessing he just basically said that, hey, I got bigger fish to fry at this moment. I'm not going to spend my time in Canada talking to you guys. I'm going to go back and figure this Iran Israel thing because if that thing can get solved, it's a lot more important than talking to the EU and the Australian Prime Minister tomorrow. Right? In essence, that's a smart thing. I mean, if it was anything more than that, he would have come back. He wouldn't have gone. Right. So it's not too much. And I think Marco Rubio as well, Secretary of State, he eventually also did come back. So anyways, do we have any more data that comes out? I think there's a NAHB housing index data that comes out today. That is something that I'm going to look at as well. It comes out at 10 p.m. So we'll see. If we do this live till 10 p.m., we'll get to know what's happening there. Business inventories come in 9:15. We get industrial production. So Sean, let's look at 9:15 when we see the capacity utilization rate and the industrial production month on month. It's not really that important, but this month, next month, and the previous month that passed by, I have started looking at a lot more data than normal because I'm trying to see whether, and if it's good data, I'm fine with it. But if it's bad data, what I want to just figure out and see is there some form of some cracks that you can put two and two together to know that something is cracking somewhere. All right. So that is something that I'm just looking at the moment. Otherwise, I don't think we're seeing anything too incredible. Let me go down and see some of the so commodities wise. So crypto, I think Bitcoin is just rolling around the 105,000. I think we were at 106, 107. We came back down to 105. So that's been trading pretty much there. Bitcoin's been pretty dead. Oil did has come down about a percent. We were at about 2.73% higher on oil. We're now at 1.7% higher on oil. So maybe there is some improvement, something that someone knows that we don't, obviously, when it comes to the Iran Israel conflict. Remember, there's a direct correlation between a US recession or a global recession with the price of oil doubling in a single year. So, if the price of oil doubles in a single year, you are more than likely to see a recession come through. At the moment, we have nothing to worry. That would be a 100 to 120 level on, I wouldn't even say 100, maybe 110, 120 level on oil would be first signs of a recession coming through for us. Stocks would anyways start accounting for that and fall earlier, right? But that's you're not going to see oil at $100 unless and until you have some crazy shit going on in the Middle East, which I don't think is gonna. It's not my bet. What do you think, Sean? Do you think shit's gonna get out of control in Middle East?
I mean, it depends if Iran gets to save their face, because technically what Israel did was good, but it was seen as an act of aggression by anyone. So I think Iran needs a a big bone to get over with.
So I think they have to have some kind of face saving as well if they want the deal to pass through, right? If you logically think about it, they would need some form of a face saving. I'm not sure if there is any face saving left, but or what they can do, but no clue, man. I mean, this one's maybe it's gone a little too further away to pull back at this moment. Maybe that's exactly what's happened. Let's go see some of the stocks, Sean. Let's see what's going on in pre-market. Let's see what's happening in China. So Chinese stocks, they're dead. 0.15 to negative 0.34. So nothing too fascinating there also.
Everyone's
One of them
just
that I was looking
higher
at, the
than
guys
half a
that do
percent.
the Temu stuff, right? Pinduoduo guys.
Hmm.
I think they got now a cash equivalent of about 25 to 30% of their market value.
Mhm.
So I mean that is just fascinating. So let's see what happens about that. I mean, at the moment, nothing's really gone crazy. T-Mobile is down about
Mm.
4% because SoftBank is selling some of their stake. So nothing other than that.
Mm.
Let me go see what else is happening. Yeah, most of the stocks are where they were. They're not really nothing too fascinating. Nothing really to write home about. When what the
It's
hell is
just
this?
dead, except
Yeah,
for
it's pretty
Elliot.
dead. Let's go see. Israel is saying that their defense minister is saying they're not in talks with Iran and Israel to attack significant targets in Tehran today. So we'll see how that happens or what all happens there. I mean, I don't know what happens. So it's a fascinating thing. They asked Ken Griffin on a conference saying, how
Mm.
does he handle a stressful environment? He says a scoop of vanilla chip ice cream from Haagen-Dazs with hot fudge. You can tell how stressful it's been by how much my waistline's grown over the last few months. So he stress eats like all of us. Yeah, so Pinduoduo is sitting on a $50 billion cash pile. That's one third of their market cap. So something to look at, man. They got a lot of money, man. 50 billion is a lot in cash pile. Let me go see what else is going on. Israel is not in talks with Iran. Cool. Who was expecting that? Did you see the new Trump smartphone for 499?
Mm. Oh my God,
It's
it's a
likely going to be
Chinese
made in
knockoff.
China.
It is, I think it looks Chinese anyway. But
Dude, so is he
are
going to tariff
people
his own
going to
phone?
pay? Are people going to pay $40 or $50 a month for data? Seems expensive.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Is he going to tariff his own phones as well?
Ah, that's why they reduce.
Or maybe
Um,
it'll be the exempted part because eventually I think we're going to have tariffs, but we're going to exempt everything. So we'll have tariffs, but we'll exempt everything. So the Trump organization newly announced T1 smartphone will be built in the United States, yet the phone will likely be produced by a Chinese original device manufacturer. Oh, good lord, dude! Some of these things are just hilarious, man. Gold colored
such a
device which
scam.
said it would retail for 499 USD. It'll run on Google's
Not even
Android
gold,
operating system.
gold colored. It's
I don't know, man. This is just weird stuff. I don't know how in between of the Israel Iran thing he decided that I need to start a smartphone today. I mean, what went through his mind? Like,
because I think the sons and daughters are taking care of the the company, right? So he's trying to build his wealth. He got a $400 million jet from the Qataris.
it's not a gift, okay? It's not a gift.
How can I refuse a
Yes.
$400 million gift?
Yeah, it's not a gift. Remember, it's not a gift. It's not a gift. It's not a bribe. It's an offering. Anyways, I guess all of us would have taken it also. So not easy to sit on this side and give a comments about it. So
You take a $400 million gift,
yeah,
being a head of state.
dude, I'll take anything. $400 million jet. I mean, especially considering the fact that the jet was being delayed by Boeing. Like, and now Boeing's got enough issues on its hand, any which ways, with all these 787 things that have been happening.
I mean, Boeing's own engineers came out and said that I'd never sit in a Dreamliner. I mean, they're building the damn thing, so
Wow.
makes you think about
What is
what's
what happened
happening
to
at
Boeing?
Boeing.
Boeing was what, $218 before the Air India crash. Now it's at about $200 a share. So $18, about 8 to 9% fall. Yeah, that's not too much, but I'm guessing basically their market share is going away to Airbus. That's what's happening. Pretty much. Likely. Trump says if Iran wants to talk, they know how to reach me. Iran should have taken the deal that was on the table. I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks in any way, shape, or form. Okay.
So he's signaling war.
Basically, he's saying, call me. I won't call you. He's playing hard to get. Trump says he'll probably extend the TikTok deadline again. Okay. We might do separate Canada deal for Golden Dome. Now we have some Golden Dome going on as well, right? Canada will pay to join the Golden Dome project. So, oh my God. But back to the same situation with the EU, Trump comes out and says that EU is not offering a fair deal. And Trump says he's not too much in the mood to negotiate with Iran as well. So I don't know what's happening, man. Trump says also that he's looking for a better than ceasefire in Iran. What is better than ceasefire? How do you get something better than a ceasefire? What do you like? Kill everyone? What do you do after that?
I think they might open their borders, get more oil, lower the cost of oil. Maybe.
Yeah, but
Who
if this
knows?
thing keeps going on, it's not like oil is going to come collapsing down just because this is coming lower. I mean, that's not going to happen. I don't think that's
Maybe.
going to happen that way. Okay. Anyways. Oh, so do you see what
Iran's
happened with Elon,
already
right? Elon came out with a drug test report and he put it out online. He
okay.
says
How much?
lab
What
results
drugs
showing a
is
clean
looking?
drug test negative across the board for over 20 substances, including opioids, amphetamines, and THC. This is fascinating. Yeah, Elon Musk, it says negative for everything.
We give urine.
Yeah. Yeah, people are saying you need a hair test, not a urine test.
Negative on fentanyl. His speech is high.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
His speech is normal. And his creature is so normal.
Yeah, I
I
know, man.
don't see cocaine here. Let me see if I can see cocaine. Yeah, cocaine
Yeah,
over
he could
there.
have just done all of this afterwards, right? I mean, when did he do it though?
But I think
He
it takes
collected it
time,
on
right?
the 11th of June. Yeah, 11th of June. And the report came on the 16th. How long does this take, bro? Why does it take 5 days for a bloody report? And that too for Elon. 5 days?
But I think the safety issues and all. Not sure.
Okay. Trump told CBS that he wants a real end to their nuclear ambitions. Speaking from Air Force One, he said he expects no letter from Israel and warned Tehran not to target US troops, saying US would come down so hard if they did it. Yeah. Yes. Anyways, I mean, do you see what's happening with the OpenAI Microsoft thing? OpenAI is basically giving a big FU to Microsoft. They're basically telling Microsoft saying in the restructured unit, you guys will have to give up your rights for future profits in exchange for a 33% stake in the restructured unit. So It's also looking to reduce future revenue sharing, modify exclusivity terms for hosting its model, and exclude its wins of acquisition from IP access. Basically, OpenAI is
Mm.
saying thank you for all the help you gave me, but now I can go on my own. And that's
I mean,
actually
Sam
affecting
Altman
Palantir
seems.
because of the $200 million project that they won from the Department of Defense. OpenAI,
I
right?
mean
I
that.
mean,
I mean, Microsoft helped them when they were having the issues with Elon Musk. I
yeah,
don't know why they're biting the hand that fed them. Maybe
because
they
they
were
don't need
more.
that hand anymore.
I like how it went from a non-profit to a profit
Yeah, so
company.
in that new profit,
Mm.
basically Sam Altman saying that Microsoft needs to give up its rights to its future profits in
Future
exchange.
profits.
Yeah, in the restructured unit, because in the for profit they need to give up profits.
I don't understand this.
So they're gonna have two companies, right? The not for profit where they don't make any money in terms of profit, and they're gonna have one company where they're making profits.
Yeah.
They're basically telling Microsoft that we'll give you a 33% stake in the company that gives you profits, but you have to give up rights to it. So basically, you invested, we
Right.
felt nice, we did our job, we helped the world, but thank you. We run our own company now. So that's what's exactly happening. And they also want to stop their exclusivity terms for hosting models. So I don't know how that's happening, but I mean, I heard the other day about Reddit going against Anthropic because Anthropic's been taking data from Claude, like basically on Claude. So Anthropic's been taking data from Reddit without paying them a license fee.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's been getting pretty ugly. Because if you logically think about it, a lot of great data can come out of Reddit, right? It's got humans answering. It's got human answers to a very large extent to a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world. And you can basically fish and get a lot of the information from there, which is why OpenAI has a licensing deal with Reddit. So if you look at it, it's highly possible that Reddit could make a lot of money by giving up their data. And now they're getting into ads as well. I actually think Reddit, if it's run pretty well, could become $100 billion business. I think you know what the difference between Reddit and Meta is? You can access Reddit even without by being logged out or by being not being a Reddit user. They need to fix that shit. If they can fix that shit, they're good to go. Because they have a lot of people that are accessing Reddit as logged out or
Yeah,
guests.
but I think what they're trying to do is I think they mentioned it in their earnings, right? That they want to keep it that way because sometimes you want to chime in or like certain features are blocked unless you make an account. So it kind of it's like a it's like a garden, right? It's just like it's free,
Yeah, but
but
I
then
mean,
if
at
you
the
want
end
to
of the
see a
day, this
koi
is
pond,
capitalism, right?
it's
So
charging.
the thing is, if it's capitalism, you need targeted ads. So if you're not a logged in customer, you could be a 95-year-old guy that's just come into the particular Reddit post and looking at it. But you might be seeing a Peloton bike, which should have actually been shown to a logged in user
Wow.
who was, let's say, 22, 23 and was getting a BNPL to buy it. You understanding what I'm
Reddit
saying?
is spiking a bit.
So
Reddit is up for 5.7.
yeah, because of the new AI tools that they're basically coming up with. There's a lot of AI tools. I think it's up what
Oh,
5.6? Oh wow. That's huge, bro. Okay, we're down about 122 on the Nasdaq. We got about like 12, 13 minutes to go for the market over. 123 down on the Nasdaq. Most stocks are down and pretty much dead in the red. Like it's not really even worth looking at stocks right now because they're all like less than a percent down. Some of them are down a percent. But you know what? AMD, did you look at AMD yesterday? They had an 8%
hmm.
move. 8.81 is where they closed. So they could well be on their way to a back to a 220 if you're going to see semis outperform. I mean, 8% move on AMD is pretty big, right? Mm, yeah, nothing else in the Nasdaq. Let me just go see the S&P 500 and then we can go check out some of the news that's going on. But I was actually expecting maybe some more fireworks when it came to retail sales, but yeah, it's a bad day, which is good in a way. I mean, no news is good news as well. So it's okay. 30, 40 points here and there on the Nasdaq is like jump change. We had 300-point rally yesterday, so it's not really too much. Do we have anything else going on? No, nothing. Let me go see what's happening in the world of news. Yeah. Do you see
Wow.
what Trump said
Just
about
confirm.
Macron in France? That's what. So this is what he posted. He says publicity seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France
Wow.
mistakenly said that I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to DC to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Wrong. He has no idea why I'm on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that. Whether purposely or not, Emmanuel always gets it wrong. Stay tuned.
My dude has no chill.
Yeah, it is. It's just hilarious, man. It is just absolutely. It is just so much fun.
Isn't
What is this Oscar Health Insurance, man? What the hell is this? I need to check this company out. What the hell do they do? It's a $2 stock that's now gone to like 14. Used to trade at 23. Used to be at 37 at one point in time. I need to study this thing and figure out what the hell is going on here. What is
wow.
Harvey Weinstein got to do with this company? What the hell is going on here? Anyways, it's a pretty good rally all the way from 2022 lows, right? $2 stock all the way up to 14, 15 now. We should study this, bro. This seems like a pretty fascinating company to look at. So, just some data on them. They have a pretty high net promoter score. Their digital structures built ground up. They're leveraging AI, automated processes. Who is not? They're already profitable. They're targeting
Wow.
20% growth.
Because Oscar's health founders is Josh Kushner.
Really?
Josh Kushner.
Yeah, but
The
who's
operating income revenue was 9 billion last year.
9 million?
Billion.
Billion. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, they got the hand of God with them. So they don't really need to have to worry about anything. Okay. Let's just go back and see
It's
what else is
relatively
going
new,
on.
2012.
Yeah, but it actually looks pretty interesting now that I saw it because it is profitable and they are, I mean, they have the big man's hand on their head. So they're not basically going to be.
Oh, Mark Bertolini, co-founder, co-CEO of Bridgewater Associates, is the CEO of Oscar Health also. It seems it seems like those legacy companies where everyone
Yeah.
sues everyone is a part of it.
Anyways, you see the meta stuff where they're putting in ads now on WhatsApp? That's actually going to be pretty cool. Though. You're going to see them on statuses and you're going to see them on stuff where your, all those stories that you see? That's where it's going to come out now. That's where most of these things are going to come out now. So wage freedom saying that dude has no chill is so true, right? I'm like, dude, if you actually think about it, I mean, he's just taking people's cases on the internet. Like what he said to Macron. I'm not even sure if Macron can even reply to this. Jason's in the house as well. He's saying fall. Yeah, I'm not really sure if we're going to fall, bro. I think we open and then head higher. These are like pure. These actually remind me of times when I used to be trading in. You remember the times when we used to trade in 2018, 2019 when the markets used to just keep flying?
Yeah.
You had bad
Yeah.
news, markets went up. You had good news, markets went up even more. It's like that kind of a party. And a lot of people were pretty shaken about the fact as to how the market didn't fall so much, considering that Israel Iran were bombing each other's oil fields. Like, think about it. You actually do think about it. Israel bombed the world's largest oil field. So, I would have. I mean, obviously, oil did go up 14%, but I mean, we gave up half of that. Half of that run has been given up. So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, ah, I mean, these are actual bull markets. This is bull markets. You're going to see these kind of things and always keep thinking about the fact as to how is this happening? How is this happening? You keep thinking about this, trying to figure out whether it's going to work out or not work out, right? So in a way, that is something that even I'm looking at right now. But yeah, it looks pretty good, man. I mean, 120 down on the Nasdaq, everything's like there itself. Reddit's up about 6% today. Mm, yeah, so this is what they're saying. Reddit just unlocked a secret weapon for ads, and marketers are paying attention. So the first tool that they've built gives marketers real-time visibility into trending conversations, while the second lets them insert positive user comments directly under ads. So that would actually be fascinating to see how that actually works out, because a lot more of marketing people, maybe it opens up that place where they might just enter into Reddit because of the targeted advertising. And if that does happen, you will see a massive re-rating on Reddit. So a lot of the money that does go into Snapchat and Pinterest might also start going back to Reddit, possibly. And Reddit being also having licensing deals with OpenAI, they could be making a lot of money there as well. So that is in a way great for the stock. Let's see what else is happening. So the fee on the JP Morgan Sapphire Reserve card is now at 795 per year, up from $550 per year. Huh, unbelievable. Okay, yeah, we were supposed to see the 915 data, which we missed, but let's see how bad it got. Considering the market didn't move, I'm guessing it's all just foreign games. Yeah, industrial production was expected to be flat at zero point 0.0, came in negative 0.2, so not good. So you see, some of these things, bit by bit, they are, I wouldn't say they're falling off a cliff, but they're edging more and more towards the cliff.
Yep.
It does look that way. We should keep a watch on this for like weeks to come.
I think
Yeah, I mean, once you get through the next earning, I think this earning season is also going to be pretty okay. It's not going to be like,
mind blowing.
yeah, you're not going to. I mean, I think a lot of people were positively surprised about how good Q1 earnings was. So,
But I think a lot of people have downgraded also, right? So you
yeah,
might
so
see
which is
them
why they're
change
now
their
going to,
tunes. Yeah.
yeah, so they all downgraded because they believe that we're going to enter a secular bear market. It
Yeah.
turned out to be one of the fastest recoveries in the world, and now they all have to jump ship and come back to upgrading. And now they can't upgrade where they were at before, right? Because that'll just look stupid. So now they need to upgrade higher. So when we break into all-time highs, you're going to see a lot of these banks and all these analysts come out and then be like, hey, you know what? Maybe 7,000 is on the card, maybe 7,200 is on the card, maybe 6,800 is on the cards. These are the same guys talking about 5,800 6 months back when we do breakout, right? Literally 2 to 3 months back, they were talking about 5,800 when we were at 4,800. Some of them even spoke about 4,000. So don't just go by them, is what I would say. Look for great companies and invest in them and just stay invested. A lot of my mistakes have been selling too early. And my too early is still too far away for more people. Like when I tell people I've held on for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, there's a lot of people are like, wait, what? Not everybody, but some of them. So, and that is still selling too early. Right. I think we got Meta at below $100 a share. So we still sold it. Let's get wage freedom. My 2 cents. They have nowhere to go but up when it comes to cracking and offerings on the platform. Both of these AI ad tools sound very innovative, and people will be putting ad budget in them at least to test. Super. So one of the things that I did see about that, I'll give you an update on that, is French giant Publicis is the exclusive alpha tester for Reddit Insights. And Jackbox Games and Lucid Motors are among the alpha testers of the conversation summary add-ons. So they already have, I think, a few companies, and I'm guessing, like you're saying, wage freedom, that more than likely that people will put something as an ad budget. I mean, if it does look like the ad budget is picking up, eventually it is going to lead to more people wanting to spend time on the platform. So that's a good thing. I mean, I would love to see that happen. We hold it, so in a way, that's a so Musk's XAI in talks to raise 4.3 billion in equity funding. Why does he need to keep raising funding? Doesn't he have like $300 billion of his own money? Like, can't he like just anybody? The other thing is that if he sells some stock, he's going to get screwed.
Yeah,
So I guess he has to keep raising. What are we at? About a minute to opening?
2 minutes.
Yeah. So let's see how it opens. Let's spend like maybe a few minutes and then we can. Let's see how things stay by. I mean, 100 points down on the NASDAQ. 10-year. Do you know what the 10-year? It fell, came back to exactly where it was before the retail sales data. So it pretty much was like literally nothing happened. Let me see what's happening with the dollar. Yeah, the dollar's been shitting, bro. We're down from 114 previously to now 98. And even with the Israel Iran war, it's still been heading lower at 98. So that ain't good news. But it's good news for companies, right? Because a lot of their earnings come in non-dollar currencies. So like your Netflix, Spotify, all of these guys that make money outside America, they get a lot of non-dollar money, which they have to convert back to dollar when they're doing their accounting. So in a way, it's going to make their Q2 earnings look better as well. Okay, markets opened. The Dow down about 158, Nasdaq down about 81, S&P down about 19, so about 0.32% down. Sean, I think they're saying you got stuck. Blink your eyes, bro. Yeah, okay, we can see you. Okay, Reddit's up about 7.5%. So I mean that's something. 7.3. Keep a watch on Nvidia, man. I mean that's what I have this. It's this feeling in me that I do know about this fact that it does look likely that Nvidia breaking into an all-time high is going to head towards uh, Nvidia basically taking us all the way down up to a new all-time high in stocks. You're good, bro. I can see you. All good. Okay, let's just go see a few things. Most of the stocks are there. Nike's down about 1.5%.
I think
But
I
I think
should
all of
leave.
this.
My
What?
phone
Sorry?
is hanging up. Oh, no, no, no. It's okay.
No, I can see you.
Oh, no, no, all good.
Okay. Look at the USD JPY whenever you get a chance. That's going to be the sign for knowing whether the bull market continues. It's got a lot to do with,
10% on Reddit.
yeah,
Beautiful.
8% on Reddit,
10.
10% on Reddit. I mean, dude, we have to give it a wage freedom, bro. He just came out a few minutes before market opening and said Reddit's going to head higher. He just got a 10% move on Reddit.
I think my phone's dying. I gotta go.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
get out of here.
It's just
Okay,
dying. Yeah. All right. See you.
see ya,
Thank
man.
you so much, you guys.
Okay, so anyways, with Sean being out right now, let me just go over and see a few things and then we'll get out of here as well. 70 points down on the NASDAQ, 135 down on the Dow. S&P is down about 21. Yeah, everything looks good. Anyways, guys, so seems like a pretty okay day. Celsius is down about 2%. Nike is down about 1.5. Microsoft 0.8. Tesla's down about 1.3. Mm. Keep a watch on AMD and Nvidia. Those are the two that are going to kind of be important because that's going to pretty much tell us how the market is going to do for semiconductors. And then to an extent, even the rally in Nasdaq is going to pretty much tell us what's going to happen there. Uh, let's see. I don't know what happened to Trade Desk, but Trade Desk is down like 4%. Whatever happened, happened. Uh, okay. So let's call it quits, guys. Nice to see all of you in. Let me go ahead and end the poll. We had a 50-50. This is, I think, the first time we had a 50-50. I don't think we've ever had a 50-50 on the poll. So Trump leaves G7 early. What happens to markets next? 50% of them said that markets drop hard. 50% say markets shake it off. So let's see. We'll get to know tonight when it's closing. And then we can take it maybe post market if you have some crazy shit going on with Israel Iran. So go ahead, subscribe. Everyone that's not subscribed. And when you have that notification thing, you'll know when I go live because it's pretty much not. We go live every day 6, 8:30, 9 o'clock American time before market opens. But the post market ones are never decided. So you guys should get a notification whenever I do go live half an hour before I do. So just do that. Anyways, have a good day, guys. Hope you all make some money. Take care. Markets are pretty dead. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your day. Take care. See you. Bye. Thank you so much.